Welcome to our National Scrapbook Day YouTube Hop. Today each of us are on the Cherry on Top design team are challenging you with a challenge. My challenge is to use 3 different punches on your layout. So I will be using a circle punch. I'm going to be using a heart punch, and I'm going to be using this doily punch that I got from the shop. We're going to just do a really fun page of flowers because that's what I take a lot of pictures of. So you can use any punch that you would like to use on your layout. I have pre-punched my shapes, so I have some hearts and some teeny tiny little, the smaller circles. And what I'm going to do is we're going to create kind of flower-ish embellishments. So I'm taking each of the hearts, I'm folding them in half, and I'm putting a pop dot in between the hearts up towards the top. And then we're going to create like a little flower shape here. So I think I used about 8 hearts on each of my little flower shapes. I think initially I had punched 6. I ended up punching some more. So you can see here, fold your heart, put a little pop dot in between your heart, and then you can go ahead and create the little flower petals. And you can create as many of these petals as you want. I just folded up hearts until I was happy with how they looked, and I felt like my flower shape was recognizable. Once I had my flower shape together, I'm going to grab this paper, and I'm going to just fussy cut one of these, this circle. And that's going to provide like a little bit of a colorful base behind our flower, and it's going to make it so our flower is kind of all stuck together so I can move them around on my page. So the entire line I'm working with today is Prima's Watercolor Florals collection. You guys probably, if you have been around my channel before, you know at the beginning of April, I did a whole thing and I showed 10 different lines I was going to play with and all that. And I ended up really just playing with these 2 primarily, which totally fine. But I just kept reaching for them, the Nature Lover and the Watercolor Floral from Prima. I just, for whatever reason, those 2 collections were really speaking to me. And so I went with it, and I used both those collections quite a lot during the month of April. So I'm just going to go ahead here and continue to ink up all of the petals, and then you can kind of see here what I'm doing. So I'm inking up the circle and then inking up each of the folded heart flower petals, putting some adhesive just towards the bottom of the folded hearts, and then placing them all the way around that circle to create my flower. And by putting them on that orange kind of base, I'm adding a little bit of a pop of extra color to my layout as well. So I ended up making 1, 2.5 of these. I made 2.5 because I knew one of them I wanted to tuck under my photos, so I only needed like half a flower, not a whole flower. So you can kind of see here how I'm going to place these flowers around my photo. Also, yes, I'm working on colored cardstock. This is like a light lavendery purple color. So not only am I working with colored cardstock, but I'm also working with purple. So how fun is that? I decided that I really want to add a matte to my photos. So I decided to go with like this pale pink that's in the collection. I'm going to go ahead and just take out the 6x6 paper pad. And what I'm going to do is these photos are printed at 3x4. So I'm going to cut them down by 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to make them 2 3/4 by 3 3/4, and then when I place, then I can just cut the 6x6 paper pad into 2 3x4 boxes, and they'll fit just perfectly right there on my photo. And since these are pictures of flowers, I don't have to worry about chopping anybody's head off or anything like that. So once I have my photos matted, I inked up everything on this page with Hickory Smoke Distress Oxide ink, including the edges. I really, really liked how that ink looked with the purpley color. I will say this layout started with me wanting to create a purple layout. And so I kind of went through all my pictures and looked for ones that would work really well with purple. I like to have these types of pages in my albums. They are almost like maybe candy, call them candy, just pictures and layouts, and I have them here and there throughout my book, where you'll be flipping through and you'll have all the stories and the photos of the kids and everything else, and then you'll kind of have these layouts that are just like pretty. That's just my aesthetic though. So I knew I wanted to use some of the little cut apart pieces that were in the 6x6 paper pad and add them to my layout. So that's what I'm going to do. I took these two, I'm going to ink them, and I'm going to staple them together and place them down on the photos. So my plan for the layout design is to have both of my photos right there in the middle. Then I would really, once I have my photos and my doilies right there in the middle, I'm going to take those punched kind of flower shapes that I created with the punches, and I'm going to create like a flowy line of heart of these flowers, and they're going to overlap my photo just a bit, and that's totally fine. And then once I have those flowers down, what I'm going to do to embellish is I am going to go ahead and kind of fill in to create a flowy line that's going to go from the top left to the bottom right-ish. So it is not a true diagonal because we're working on an 8.5 by 11 canvas, but it's more like a kind of flowy, wispy kind of line that your eye can kind of follow, and it really helps in kind of cementing that idea of this being just a light, pretty scrapbook layout for today. So I went ahead then and I just started inking and sticking these little flowers along that edge of the page. I found a little title piece in one of the die cut packs. It said Dreamer, and I thought, well, that works perfectly for a title because this is kind of like a dreamy, wispy sort of layout. You can enter my challenge over in the Cherry Crafters Facebook group. And I have a special fun Doodlebug prize I am giving away to go along with my challenge over in that group. You can also leave a comment down below. We have a really, really, really special hop gift. So we usually give away just a gift certificate to the Cherry on Top shop, but for National Scrapbook Day, we are giving away a Sizzix Big Shot. So make sure you hop along, comment on each of the stops along the hop, and you could have a chance to win one of those amazing Sizzix Big Shot machines. I have a Sizzix die cutting machine, love it, and it is really fun. And you guys, if you are a regular subscriber, you know how much I love die cutting titles, and that I really do use a lot of metal dies on a lot of my layouts. So it would come in handy if you don't have one already, or maybe you have an old one and you need it to be upgraded, right? So be sure to leave a comment down below. Pop along, say hello to all the other girls who are making incredible layouts and issuing you challenges today. And then make sure to go over to the Cherry Crafters Facebook group where you can say hello to me and enter this challenge and use 3 different punches from your stash on a layout. I hope you all have an amazing, wonderful National Scrapbook Day. I will be hanging out over in the Rediscover Your Stash Facebook group. I will also be hanging out at the Cherry on Top's message board and the Cherry Crafters Facebook group, and I will also be back later today with a fun unboxing and project for you. Talk to you all soon. Bye.